Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
These are my confessions. That's when I thought I said all I can say. My chick on the side says she got
Dance, ladies. Ooh, we started off a little slow tonight, but this was an awesome episode. Hey, everybody. Hey. My name is Christy Olson. Thank you so much for joining us on this AFTERBUZZ TV recap. And we say recap on the Dance Mom Show. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This was season 5, episode 18, and it's called Confessions of a Housewife. Had to wait for it there for a second. Thank you so much for joining us. Do not forget to click that subscribe button. We are also on iTunes and SoundCloud. Give us 5 stars. I appreciate it. You know I love you. Hit that thumbs up button. My name is Christy Olson. You can also tweet me at Christy Reports with your thoughts on this episode, and also use the hashtag ABTVRHOBH so we can make sure to see you. I'm already right here on the phone. If you shout out to us, we will shout out back to you. I also have some beautiful ladies here with me tonight. Introduce yourselves, girls.
Hello, this is Fern Ronay.
Hi guys, it's Megan Stecher.
Oh, and I know we were kind of yelling at the TV at a few points here.
Yes.
I definitely have some things to say about this episode. So let's start our own confessions.
Okay.
We're still in Amsterdam at the beginning of this episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Right? I know, little blurby. And Brandi tries to appease the Lisa slap situation, which we saw last week, and kind of collectively decided that it wasn't quite as climactic as we would have preferred. But Lisa's PO'd, she's ticked off, and Brandi tries to buy her some flowers to soothe it over. So what did you ladies think of this beginning scene, how Lisa's feeling and how Brandi is responding to her?
It's like enough is enough. This is episode 18. She's like an abusive husband, not to be,
Right?
not to make light of it, but that's textbook abuse. You are mean, say mean things, do mean things, are abusive, and then you apologize. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Don't do the mean things to begin with. She's not mentally, emotionally healthy. She does these ridiculous things and then regrets it and tries to apologize. And I don't blame Lisa Vanderpump. Enough's enough.
Agreed.
It's like a broken record. Like, I think that the reason it didn't even resound with the viewers last week with the slapping across the face is because it was like, here we go again. Who cares? You know, same old with her. And the apology was same old. It's like her coming to you now sober in the morning, sheepishly like, I'm so sorry. Here's my apologetic item I'm trying to offer to you. And then she's, snaps when they say, it's all well and good that you're trying to apologize to me, but I don't really care. You're a jerk. And she's like, I have apologized. I apologized to you then. I'm apologizing now if you don't accept my apology. And it's just, it's the same thing over and over this season. So
that's my problem with her all season is that she does these outlandish things, says terrible things, and then she thinks just because she says, I'm sorry, it's okay. I wonder where that comes from.
I don't know.
I'm like, it hasn't worked on this show in any season.
Right, yeah. She's just, I think, really immature.
But
we'll get to it, but I felt so bad. I made a complete 180 because I felt so bad for her later in the episode, but I know we'll get to it, but that being said, yeah.
Well, at this point at the beginning, the ladies are arguing over, whose a-hole is Brandi? Who does she belong to? Who's gonna claim her? Who's gonna make it better?
Yolanda.
Yeah, right? She tries so hard.
I know. It's sweet. Yolanda steps in like this nurturing stepmom, like, I know you're really upset that you come from a broken family and I want to help you kind of a situation. Unfortunately, it doesn't ever work. I give Yolanda so much credit for being the neutral territory in all of this, always. And always reaching out to Brandi, because it seems like it's probably a situation where Yolanda is one of the only people who will film with her if it's not a large group setting. So maybe that's why Yolanda keeps getting stuck in these Brandi one-on-ones. I give Yolanda a lot of credit, but it doesn't ever solve anything or help anything. As much as it's like, spill all your secrets and tell me what's wrong, honey. We'll figure this out. It never solves anything with Brandi.
Yeah, because she's
Yeah,
like
it
a
doesn't.
child, like Yolanda said. And Brandi always accuses everyone of trying to mother her. But it seems like that's almost the only way to get through to her, because if you get mad or to say that an apology isn't enough, she doesn't like that either.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Yolanda does seem to be the only one who gets through to her like a teeny tiny bit every once in a while.
I have to give Yolanda
Right?
credit too, because she doesn't kiss her butt and say, she says, don't throw wine in people's faces, don't slap people. She does say, even after Brandi, confessed about her father and she was so upset about it, Yolanda didn't let her get away with
No.
the truth. She said, you do these things and that's what people get angry about. So I give Yolanda a lot of credit. She really, I think, handles her well and is honest with her and doesn't just kiss her butt. But it doesn't seem to work.
No. Right. Yolanda seems to be acting like a real friend to Brandi.
Yeah.
And also, while we're on the subject, may I just say that Yolanda looked absolutely fabulous in that scene and following in her black dress that was all
The
open.
keyhole, yeah.
Yeah, thinking now about how she's not feeling well and she's been spending a lot of time in the hospital, probably in these hospital gowns that are not comfortable and not cute. It was really great to just see her
Yeah.
all dollied up. I don't think she's ever looked better.
No, she
No,
looked
that was
fantastic.
amazing.
Now, loved it.
She's still got that
fantastic.
model body.
Right? Oh my God, if I could only at
And I
that
loved
age,
her,
right?
the skeletons in her closet. I was here 30 years ago. I had no money with
Julio Iglesias.
That was the best little juicy tidbit,
Yeah.
right? Who knew?
Like
And-
everybody else's skeletons on Housewives, it's like I was a stripper. She's like, I dated Julio Iglesias.
I know.
We
And
took
how
her to
Lisa
fancy hotels.
Rinna was like in that weird, like, jealous talking heads moment where she's like, well, she's just more fabulous than we all realize, isn't she? I loved it because you could see the jealousy like dripping off of her plump lips.
Well, I thought it was interesting. It's like Yolanda was just meant to end up with some super rich music guy, right?
Yeah.
She got
Yeah.
David Foster instead, which is just as good, if not
Yeah.
maybe better than Julio Iglesias. We could argue that. But it seems like that was just her destiny.
Her destiny,
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Right? So we also learn at this point that Brandi has met a man. Not a man. Maybe
boy.
a young boy, one of
young
Lisa's
man.
son's friends, who apparently
Amster
is
boy.
23, 22, depending on who you listen to.
Forgot that they were called it.
Hamster boy.
Well, I would maybe like to call him Red Light District Boy, because that's where she met him, and that's what you guys kept saying. What did you keep saying, Megan?
He's a gigolo. I just, okay. First of all, he definitely looked like a young man for hire. I'm sorry to say something
Agreed.
like that. That's not very nice, but he did come across that way, very much so. And was it just the weirdest? I just don't even understand how small the world is that he knows Lisa Vanderpump's son.
And that they just ran into each other on the
Yeah,
street in
it's
Holland.
not like this guy was British. He's from there. I don't get it.
That was random.
I'm just,
They didn't explain it well, but yeah.
around the world. No, they didn't explain
Yeah.
it very well. That would be a question for Lisa. But
He
we
looked so young, I thought.
He was
I thought
23. They said 23.
I'm like, he looks like a baby.
Andre.
Yeah.
Andre.
well, not too young enough to spend the night with, apparently.
But they didn't even seem to have such good chemistry.
no,
No,
they
it
didn't.
was
And
awkward.
Brandi claimed that it was just a little makeout,
Which is why
long time,
I feel
nighttime
like
sesh.
he's a gigolo, and it looked so set up. Whatever.
Well, I did like that he kept her waiting at the restaurant.
He
She
did
was
keep
sitting
her
there
waiting.
downing glasses of wine, and he just breezed in as if he couldn't have cared less that this TV star from America was waiting on him.
Yeah,
She
maybe.
definitely seemed. There was a lot of a slurring problem during that date with her. So it's like I don't know if she's one of those people that has 2 glasses of something and then is just at a
Probably
10.
because of all the admitted pills, and she's so skinny.
That's a good point. It's like, is she one of those people that just has 2 drinks and is at a 10, or is she someone that drinks 10 drinks? It's like we're constantly seeing her drunk, but how much is she drinking? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the pills, and she's admitted a lot of pill use, and especially when you're traveling and things can affect you differently.
Allegedly.
She has seemed wasted the whole
She's
time.
Allegedly.
That's true. But it also, to be fair, I feel like the producers probably told her to get there at 7 and told him to get there at 9. So she could get drunk and act like an idiot, and they would have something to...
Agreed.
And they can show 30 seconds of her just
Yeah.
sitting there waiting kind of pathetically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, then all of a sudden we just make a little flippy turn, and it's 6 days later in Beverly Hills, which I thought was sort of a bit of a jump cut.
Yeah.
I could have used a little Amsterdam wrap up after all the drama
Yeah,
that
like
they
how
had
was the
there.
flight home? And yeah.
Yeah, any drama on the flight home?
Yeah.
The one there was so
Probably not,
eventful.
but yeah.
Well, so anyway, Yolanda and Brandi are at the spa which, Megan, you said probably not a great day for Brandi to be at the spa.
No, anytime I've ever had any anxiety going on in my life, and I had a boyfriend I dated like probably 10 years ago that was like, oh my gosh, you're, this girl who's your best friend you were supposed to move in with is not going to move in. She just pulled the rug out from under you, and you guys aren't going to move in together anymore, and you don't know what you're going to do. You're stuck in this bad living situation. Let me send you off to get a massage. And I was like, oh, how nice. No, I have never been more tense. And there's been at least 3 times in my life where I thought it would be a good idea to go get a spa treatment to relax over something super stressful, and it's the worst idea. You cannot relax the whole time. The treatment feels terrible because you're so tense, and the only thing you could think of is your problems, and you can't relax. So as soon as she walked in and was crying over her dad's health problems, I was like, this is a terrible idea.
Waste of money.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and I sort of felt like this was a time when we saw real emotion from Brandi.
Yes.
And I don't usually
It's not
think she's
often.
being fake, but when you see her being that genuinely upset about a real problem, her father being in the
Exactly.
hospital,
Yes.
you're like, whoa, she's a real person too.
Yeah, yeah. And when people, when there's these health issues, like a parent being, sick, or a housewife being sick, it's like, it makes it real, not reality real. And I felt genuinely sorry for her. And then, when you have one problem and then everything else adds up and you just kind of let it all out, she was so having that. And I genuinely felt bad for her. And normally I'm like, needs to step back and grow up. But in that moment, felt so bad for her.
Well,
Yeah.
she made the great point that we all agreed with, that we all finally felt bad for her, in that Lisa Rinna got to throw a glass and try to choke Kim, but yet Brandi's always the bad girl. Even though Brandi did something not as bad or similar, she's
Yeah.
always going to be the bad girl that everyone can't stand.
Yeah.
And she had a very good point, which
Yeah.
I think all at the same time we all were like, oh my God,
That's
great
true.
point.
Right? Because in 18 episodes, how many times have we said Brandi's right? Probably zero.
Probably zero.
This
But
was the
even
first time.
That was when Yolanda did say, you threw a glass, right? She said you threw a glass of wine in someone's face, you slapped someone. And then she said you go below the belt, like what she said to Kyle about ask your husband if he wants you. So she's maybe Lisa Rinna made one mistake, Brandi's made several more, but Brandi is kind of right that they always bring it up. They don't forget her mistake. But maybe because they're like particularly egregious, like throwing, the things she does are pretty ridiculous.
Right.
Whereas Lisa Rinna in that moment was just.
Well, and this conversation between Brandi and Yolanda really goes differently than the one in the hotel in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
We see Yolanda maybe being kind of hard on Brandi, and Brandi starts to cry. And I was surprised that in the state that Brandi was in, that Yolanda would sort of push it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because Brandi got really defensive in Amsterdam. And then she's like, I'll just go out to dinner with my Amster boy. Whereas here, she broke down. Yeah. But I also did agree with her that, if they forget everyone else's errors, everyone else's mistakes, the next day it's fine, and they always talk about Brandi's. That's true.
Yeah, well, and what Yolanda said in her interview that they kind of cut in on is that when Brandi does things, they come from a place of fear and rejection.
That's so true.
I thought that was dead on, and I thought maybe that was something that she could have said to Brandi's face that would have spoken to Brandi a little bit, because that is sort of acknowledging, hey, you've been hurt, you've been through some things, and Brandi is always blaming her sort of behavior on what she's been through. And I think that just sort of tells it like it is, and that's something that is really that Brandi and everyone else can maybe agree with, that she comes from a place of fear and rejection.
That's true. And I did really like that Yolanda kind of pushed it with her at the spa. That she said, I'm sorry that you are upset, and I'm not trying to be the one to upset you, but we do need to talk about this. And I enjoyed that Yolanda kept talking to her about it rather than being like, oh, poor baby, having a bad day. Like, it's time to face the music, look at yourself in the mirror, all those cliches, like, do it. It's time.
Grow up. Yeah. And Yolanda did say, I want to say to her, I'm coming from the heart. I'm a true friend. I'm not going to kick you to the curb. You don't have to feel fear and rejection with me to make her feel like you can open up to me. But yeah, she's a good friend to Brandi.
She is. I wonder what it would ever take, because remember, Brandi and Lisa were so close for a long time. I wonder what it would take for Yolanda to ever drop Brandi or just really be done with her and say, you know what, I can't fix this, enough is enough.
That's a good
like
point.
to have Lisa Vanderpump's breaking point with Brandi.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she said to Brandi, I'm loyal to you because you're loyal to me, so maybe it would be an act of disloyalty. I wouldn't want to see it because I wouldn't want to see Yolanda get hurt.
Right.
No, but we know
Yeah.
how things usually end up between
Yeah.
Brandi and her friends, and an act of disloyalty is maybe a strong possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But we see this intercut with the conversation that Kim and Adrienne are having. And of course, we always love to see Adrienne and Camille and Taylor and all the girls come back. And Adrienne is at supper club. Kim comes to see her. And what sort of spoke to me during that conversation is that Adrienne seemed a little out of the loop. She doesn't seem to realize how bad things have truly gotten between Kim and Kyle.
Yeah.
And her sort of not acknowledging that, or maybe not being able to even imagine that it could get that bad, made me feel even like it's even more sad. And like Adrienne knows them from another time, and they were always fighting, even in the seasons when Adrienne was there. But Adrienne just can't quite believe that it's gone to the length that it has.
Yeah.
Can you guys believe it's gone this bad?
I think it was
No.
really bad, and we'll talk about it, but in Palm Springs, I was like, it just went back to the limo. That's at the root of it all. But yeah, it was interesting to see how out of the loop Adrienne is. Like, if you could like talk to her, I don't know what Kim told you, and I don't know what you're going to hear, but it's bad.
Yeah. Do you
She's-
guys like
yeah.
seeing Adrienne on here, or is it sort of like, oh, we forgot about her now. I don't really care what's going on with her. I don't really know. I could give her like loser, take her, or whatever.
It's always funny to see the ones from previous.
Yeah, I like the role that she's been in this season of just popping in every now and then, and we don't have to know what's going on in her life. I
Right.
like that because because it was very messy, and I mean her face looks great. Whatever whatever the latest, plumping, pushing, pulling. I don't know. She looks fabulous, and it's nice to just have her on there as like a little placeholder. Obviously her role in this episode was just to be who Kim's venting to. I liked it. I thought she looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently Kim needed this little venting session because she's about to hop in the car for a 5-hour car ride to go see Kyle. It's a different day, but to go see Kyle and her. I can't even. You guys get so mad at me about Kyle, but I can't even. What do we call it? This desert,
The desert
mansion
house.
Shangri-La,
compound.
yeah.
Yeah, Shangri-La, basically. And Kim is supposed to go there and feel good about visiting Kyle at this house when they apparently have had a lot of drama about their mother's house in the Palm Desert. So first things first, what was your guys' first reaction to this house?
Stunning, gorgeous,
Crazy,
beautiful.
right?
Yeah. So, like, just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I'm thrilled for them that they're doing well. I don't think that was the location you should have had this conversation with your sister. Like, meet up in LA. You don't have to do that.
Right.
That was the bad move.
I was on the fence with this because I think it's great that Kyle's doing well with Mauricio. Do we have a special caller?
Oh my gosh. You guys may have noticed that we're missing one of our panelists tonight. And now we have a special caller. We can only hope that it is the Grant Rudder.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, yay! Hey, Grant, how are you?
Good. How are you?
We're good. We missed you
I'm sorry
so much.
I can't be there. Things always come up. But next week, through hell or high water, I will be there to discuss the finale.
Well, Grant has a really high-profile Hollywoody job for all of you out there who don't know, so that's why he couldn't join us tonight. But we are dying to hear what he thought about this episode. Grant, we're talking about Kim and Kyle at the house in Palm Desert. Thoughts?
Oh, let's talk about it. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like we're going to have a similar opinion this week with this one. She wanted to have this conversation with Kim there. And this is something really to celebrate it for Kyle, to show off this house and to have this moment. But the conversation they were going to have, especially for not speaking, when they were being in such close quarters and for all this time that has passed, it's just not the right time or place to be showing off a new house or a new car or anything. I mean, it's like you should be having a one-on-one conversation in someone's kitchen, your own,
Right.
like in your own house, not showing off some palatial, summer house.
Ooh, palatial.
Ooh.
I like that.
I like that too.
I thought it was tacky. I mean, I know, we have to see these women's lifestyles, and, Kyle was driving a really nice car, and it looks good and everything, but, I don't know, it was just way too flashy for me. What'd you think?
Yeah, agreed. And again, Kyle's not doing herself any favors if she wants us to feel bad for her, right?
Yeah,
No.
I think the house is great. I just think, it wasn't the time or place to have this conversation with Kim.
Grant, what did you think of the way the conversation went? What was said between the ladies and how heated it got? Were you surprised?
No, I feel like there's so much that's never said between those two. So if you turn up the flame a little bit with having cameras in the room, the pot is going to boil over. So I really wasn't too surprised how quick it went. But I'm glad that they turned it, they brought up this whole house situation again. I mean, they didn't really waste any time bringing up the house and trying to figure out it was an escrow and Brooklyn, her daughter, was involved and who was paid out. So it's kind of hard to completely follow all of that, but I think I got it. And I'm glad that they brought that up because, as Fern just mentioned earlier, that infamous limo ride, and it all goes back to that. So I'm so glad they referenced that.
Yeah, because we never knew the details. These were like the juicy, dirty details.
Right.
Right. So, Grant, do you have any other thoughts on the episode? I know we don't have you for a whole long time.
Right. Oh, well, you just kind of all wrapped it up really well with Brandi, and I was just going to comment how, this episode didn't do really anything for me when it came to Eileen and Lisa Rinna, and especially with Rinna, I got my eye on her because I'm kind of like trying to figure her out. I feel like were really into her in the beginning, and now I'm trying to figure her out a little bit. What are her motivations and things like that? Because I definitely understand where Brandi was coming from. So yes, I'm going to further support your argument against, for Brandi's perspective on why she's like that girl, and Lisa Rinna can get away with whatever, and then she's shopping with Kim the next day. It was just, it's strange, and I think all that's going to come to a head at the reunion. So we shall see.
Oh boy, it's gonna be good.
Oh, and Christy, I thought of you. I was doing some reading, and speaking of the reunion, it seems there's going to be a lot of talk about Kingsley. So I know you'll be really into that.
I'm always concerned about what's going down with Kingsley.
Yep.
Love that.
Well, it's going to be a real heated discussion coming up at that reunion, and they're going to get into all the details. So you'll be in heaven with that.
Oh, yay! I know. I do love that. Well, Grant, also, Kim and Kyle went to a place where it was really about more than what it was about originally. And do you think that it's just going to keep getting worse, or do you think this was the catalyst? Do you think this is the end of it? There are no more talking. The reunion's just going to be squabble. What do you think the future holds for Kyle and Kim?
Well, from what I've been reading and the investigations through social media that I've been conducting, it doesn't seem that those two sisters are even on speaking terms since the reunion, and that they seem kind of like what Kyle mentioned in tonight's episode, how they're kind of going now a couple months without speaking, and it seems that they're completely off. So, unfortunately, it was nice to see that moment in the kitchen, but, coming up, it's just going to kind of be the beginning of the end for now. So that's what I see.
Did you think that Brandi and Lisa's conversation really was kind of behind Kim's back? Like, do you think it was really that insulting to Kim, or that Brandi was talking crap about her behind her back? Or did you not read it that way?
No, I think Brandi was just trying to be a good friend. And mainly though, I think that Brandi was just trying to, protect her friendship with Kim. So she has Kim in her life. So I think it was a little selfish on her part, where, if she really felt she should have done something, she should have done it. But if she just wanted to keep quiet to keep the friendship, in good standing, then it's a little selfish. But she thinks she did the right thing.
Right. Well, we're going to get into our opinions on that. But Grant, thank you so much for calling in. I know the fans miss you. We will definitely see you next week. Maybe we'll have a little reenactment going down. I don't know.
There will be something.
Yes. We love it. So have a great rest of the week, Grant. We'll see you next week. Thanks for calling.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I love that. I love that. We have our little crew here. We get pretty serious about it. Yeah. But did you ladies think that the conversation they showed between Lisa and Brandi really was sort of going against Kim, or that was something that she should read as being a betrayal? Did you think it was a betrayal?
I thought that this was a whole game of telephone, where the way Lisa was telling Kyle about the conversation that she had with Brandi, there was really nothing wrong with the way she was describing it, but Kyle took it the wrong way. And I don't blame her. The way Lisa described it to her, it's just the way she took it. So it's just a big game of telephone. So now that Kyle's gone back to Kim and said, Brandi's talking crap behind your back about you needing to have an intervention, this is all going to come back into Kyle's face, which looks like, from what the preview we saw, is going to happen next week at Adrienne's Big Extravaganza. But at least we got to see a preview that is going to happen. They planted the seed tonight, and at least we're going to see that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think this was sort of a rare occasion too of Brandi was being a good friend. It seemed like she was trying not to say too much.
Yeah.
Like she was for once watching her tongue with Lisa Rinna and making sure she didn't say anything that could have been telephoned into something that Kim would see as being negative that she said.
And it seemed like Kyle was kind of eating it up when Lisa Rinna was telling her these things, because whatever it was, she was grabbing onto it just to be like, this is something that Brandi said behind your back. I was right the whole time. She's going to betray you. So she's been waiting for that to hear this. So it didn't matter what Brandi said or didn't say in that conversation. Kyle was just waiting for something, and it always gets lost in translation from one person to the next. So. Yeah, this
and
was
Kim
Kyle's chance.
Kim knows that. She said later that Kyle was just looking for something.
Yeah.
That she's ready to say, "I told you so" about Brandi.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I don't blame her. Well, can we just say how hypocritical it was with the family over everything t-shirt that Kyle was wearing? What was
So
that
glad
about?
you brought that up.
What was that about? Like, it must be her trying to say I'm so close with her nuclear family, but to bring... I mean, to wear that while you're filming, where obviously all you do is fight with your family member who's on the show, I can't. What, Kyle? What were you trying to prove? Kyle!
I feel like, I mean, she would say, even though I'm talking about my sister, even though we're having a conversation about her, she's not here, so it's essentially behind her back. Even though we fight, I still love her. So maybe she was saying, like, you know, yeah, family over everything, even over reality TV. Maybe it was a way of saying, like, despite what you see, I still love her. I don't know.
Fern, you always see the good in everyone. I can't with you. So
I
cute.
know, 'cause
I know, but I don't know. I don't know.
I
could
think
be
it
wrong.
was. I think it was so calculated. I think everything that Kyle does is about putting on a show, and she's so concerned about what everyone thinks, and so concerned about controlling the image that she's putting out there to everyone.
Like how you were saying, like, what did you guys think of the house? I thought it was so cheesy the way that she presented it to us. It's not like, I'm having Kim here because it's quiet and no one will be here, and, you know,
We need to have a talk.
Exactly. It was, here's my new house. We're going, my new mansion in the desert that I'm driving to with the top down of my convertible. And then when her sister is there and she's saying, I don't even know how to use this house. It's so electronical. And everything's brand new and I don't even know my way around yet. Like, it's just so something that, like, Lisa Vanderpump would say to somebody.
And it was just tacky because it's, you know, even though
She's
they
rubbing
love
it in
each
her face.
exactly. Even though they love each other, and Kim probably is genuinely happy for her. This is a time when her ex-husband, who she still kind of loves, is dying. She is divorced, is struggling with her disease, and doesn't need to
it
see
rubbed in her face.
Doesn't need any of this rubbed in her face. And at the root of all of this, which comes out, is that they have a contentious relationship because they think they each are owed something from the mother regarding the original house. So it's they're fighting about money kind of to begin with, and then she has to show her big house, throw it in her face.
Well, yeah, and I know the
Big mistake.
production made an attempt this season, it was part of their thing, was to show the opulence again.
Right.
To show these women are very wealthy and these are the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's what sets them apart from any of the other Housewives casts. But this was, again, a little bit much. And then, speaking of opulence, we go into the next scene where Lisa Vanderpump is at her restaurant Pump, and she is officiating a gay wedding.
Oh, that was awesome.
It was so beautiful, right?
We loved her outfit.
Yes.
Yes.
We were saying it's like what the clergy wears at the Church of Lisa Vanderpump. How she was wearing a rosary with the cross hanging in her cleavage. Like, it was too much. It was too good.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I loved it though. And when she was putting together Pump, and we know she put so much work into it, and we did get to see a lot of that, and I loved seeing that. That was part of her big thing. She's a big champion for LGBT rights, and she wanted to be able to officiate gay weddings there.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Is this
That
like
was
a
really
regular weekend thing that she's doing there?
They've
'Cause
shown her
they
doing it
had
a couple
brunch-
other times.
They brunch every Sunday, so I don't know when
Right?
they're holding all these weddings, but
Can you imagine how much it probably costs to
No.
get her to officiate your wedding? It's probably on their website. I'll look it up for you all. Right? But so then, B-Day, oh, wait, that's my news. So,
I thought, how Kyle, the one thing I was happy with Kyle about in this episode was she said one really relatable quote, I wrote it down. She said, this is all still happening at this point of our lives, which is something like, I know we were just talking at dinner how, like, I don't always have the best relationship with my little sister. And I sometimes feel like, you know, if she wasn't my family, I wouldn't be friends with her. I wouldn't talk to her. You know, it'd be somebody that I'd cut out of my life. And her saying that about Kim was so relatable to me. And I think that brought home all of their struggles into one compact thought. it's like, it's so hard and it's so much and I can't do this anymore, so much so that, like, if she wasn't my family, I wouldn't know her anymore.
She basically said I wouldn't be friends with her.
Right.
Yeah. I get so fascinated by these sisterly relationships because
Me
I
too,
don't
because I don't have a sister.
Neither of you do?
No.
I have an older
Girls,
brother.
count
so
your
it's
blessings.
So different.
I have 3 sisters. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's fascinating, the sister
It's
relationship.
like-
It's so different than...
It's friendship on steroids. It's a lot. It's heavy.
I'm finding myself wondering, with them saying that, if Kyle and Kim will ever have a peaceful relationship.
It was nice to see them hugging in the kitchen. I liked how it ended, but yeah, I don't know if they ever will. They might have to just not see each other anymore. I don't know how you cut out a sibling out of your life, but
I don't know if
it might be
it's-
healthy for both of them. Who knows?
Agreed.
Do either of you think that they like this back and forth fighting, that like everything's okay when it's not okay? Like if they're getting along, that's not normal. So they kind of like not getting along,
I
maybe?
think they're used to it. They're very
Yeah.
Beverly Hills.
And it was
Yeah.
weird to me that, like, Kim was offended by Kyle even starting the conversation and got upset and yelled at Kyle. And then, but of course, Kyle starts crying in the kitchen. So Kim comes in, like, I love you, and hugging, you know.
I think they like it for the money and the fame and the show. And then when the show is over, hopefully neither of them will be on next season. They'll be able to be normal. Who knows? But I think that's...
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't
Fair
sound like
guess.
it was great before the reality show. But again, there's
Yeah.
always the point that they had all this going on with Kim's addiction and they were already fighting and they decided to sign on to a reality show
Yeah.
together.
Which is not
a good
healthy.
idea.
Not healthy or normal. Yeah, how they had Kim to cut.
They didn't
Oh
even
yeah,
talk
and Kim
about
going and saying
Amsterdam.
I love you.
Yeah.
No, it got so intense so quick, this
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
And then just fizzled out so fast.
Yeah.
Right? I almost wanted to see more resolution, but I guess that is the difference between friends and sisters, is that you just go up and say,
Yeah.
you know what, I love you. Was it like agree to disagree, sort of? Is that how you guys sort of read it?
Well, I like that she said, I want to figure this out with you.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Kim being crazy Kim, that she's always just off the handle and out of control lately. And it's an immediate explosion with her.
Right.
She had her immediate explosion, and then it was like back to reality. And she's like, oh, you know what? I love you and I want to work this all out.
I can see how it can be so frustrating for Kyle because Kim says these things that are not accurate and
Right.
attaches emotion to it and blame. And then Kyle's like, what are you talking about? Like, about, you know, the escrow was a good example that Kim didn't have her facts straight and she was
Right.
blaming Kyle for something. And Kyle must be so frustrated because she's like, get it together. That's not what happened.
Right, by all
So-
accounts, that was at a time
Yeah.
where Kim probably didn't really know what was going
Yeah.
on all the time.
Yeah. And still doesn't.
Though
right?
she claims
So much-
she's not the same person she was 3 years ago.
Right, she
Because that
seems
was
like
her
it.
leading statement when they started their argument. It's like, I just want you to know I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago, and I've been working so hard. And it's like, well, I mean,
seems
you
like
might be
it.
worse. I don't know.
You're right. You're not the same person. You're even worse.
Oh, I love it. Well, we're not the only ones who are fired up about all this. You guys are tweeting along with us live, and I want to read some of these now. At Lois Elfman, you always tweet us. We love you. Thank you for
Our
watching.
number one fan.
We love you, Lois.
And at Growl and Hum says, so impressed with Eileen's grasp over the English language. Her conviction shows up those who make flippant accusations. That is a lot of big words, at Growl and Hum. And you fit them all into 140 characters. Thank
What
you for that.
exactly did Eileen say? I don't know. She does have really good talking head interviews, though.
Yeah, I'm thinking it comes from being a soap star, right? Don't they use that kind of terminology? I'm thinking of Friends when Joey talks about all the big words he has to use on his soap opera, right? Is that where that comes from? Also, at Jordan Wellard says, Brandi Glanville cannot seem to understand the value of basic respect. That's a good point.
That is true.
Yeah. Basic respect and I think basic friendship as well. Yeah. Well, keep
That's a
those
good
tweets
point.
coming,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
We love to hear from you. And now, if you ladies don't mind, I think we'll maybe move into a little bit of news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Because you know I love news and gossip. So apparently this week, Kim was photographed going into a birthday party that was reported as being Kathy's birthday party. It was also reported as being her daughter Whitney's birthday party. So I don't know if maybe it was a joint venture. Either way, she did not look happy walking in, and there was a lot of speculation. Kim's not doing well, blah, blah, blah. However, she also tweeted at Kathy, because it was Kathy's birthday and Whitney's both, and thanked Kathy for, quote, always being there for me, which people took as a dig at Kyle, of course, because it clearly was one, right? What do you guys think about that, her going public with it like that?
Yeah, I think it was a dig because of what had just happened on the show previously. Yeah, it was a little bit of a dig.
I feel like this isn't the first time in the past few weeks that she's done that, so I kind of feel like not surprised. But Kyle posted, I love you. I guess this is Whitney here. I'm from her Instagram feed. It's an old picture of Whitney. So, and happy birthday with the heart. So,
yeah, well, we have to remember that their children all grew up together, and this is probably very difficult for them as well.
Yeah.
And another reason why Kim may not be looking so happy these days is that one of her children was admitted to a psychiatric facility in the last week or two. This wasn't an involuntary admittance, but it was, quote, close to being that. She has 4 children. They're all in their 20s, and the media has chosen not to name which child it is, and so I won't either. And apparently this child has battled depression for years. It's unclear how long they will be there. And this is the same child of hers who, if you all may remember, in the summertime, there was a report that one of her children was running nude through the streets, rambling, and had to be placed on an involuntary 72-hour 5150 hold in a psychiatric facility. So we certainly wish the best for them and hope
Poor
a
Kim.
speedy
That's a lot.
recovery. It just reminds us how much she's dealing with.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's Monty. This stuff with Kim.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel so much for her, and it's to the point where everyone's accusing her of being off the wagon.
Yeah.
It's like, if she was, I wouldn't blame her one tiny bit.
no. How else do you cope with all that? I mean,
Right?
Right, yeah.
jeez.
Yeah. Do you ladies
She's
have
dealing with
anything
a lot.
you want to add?
The
for
only
news and
thing
gossip?
is, today I saw that Brandi had interviewed Lisa Gibbons on her podcast.
Love Lisa.
Gibbons, of course,
That's
was
my girl.
Interviewed by Christy and Grant. And she told Lisa that she regrets her behavior on the reunion, that she wanted to go in and just be quiet and not let them get the best of her. But she went nuts and lost it, and she has to deal with what she did, but she said she really regrets her behavior on the
I
reunion.
don't believe her at all.
Wow.
Classic Brandi. She blows up, she apologizes right away.
I'm really thinking it's starting to look weaker and weaker, her case for being on next season, Brandi's. Andy has even said he's not sure if she'll be back. And would you ladies miss Brandi if she was gone?
No.
I wouldn't. I think they should wipe it clean and do a whole new cast.
Ooh.
Fern. Wow.
Even my beloved
Even
Lisa
Vanderpump?
Rinna.
Oh,
And
Rinna,
even my
yeah.
beloved Lisa. Yeah, VP. Yeah, they
Wow.
should. There's enough rich women in Beverly Hills who'd want to do the show.
Let me tell you
they're
why
done.
they should get rid of Brandi, because no one wants to film with her anymore, and it would be just like Stassi on Vanderpump Rules,
Yes.
where she's, like one person will film with her who's not even a primary cast member, and it's like trying to force her into the whole conversation
It would
and
seem
storyline.
ingenuine, yeah.
And it was just a terrible idea this year. So
Although it could not maybe work well, but it could be Kim who's the friend that she's there for and is talking to, and
Yeah, I feel like it would be the same old conversations again. Kim and her sobriety and Brandi and the things she does. It's like there's enough rich women in Beverly Hills. Find us some new characters.
them up.
Yes.
true that, Fern.
oh
Yeah.
boy. Well, then let's move on to some for next week predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So we saw a little bit in the preview that it seems like Lisa Rinna is going to backtrack on this comment she made to Kyle about her and Brandi saying that Kim needed an intervention. And Kyle's going to end up looking like a jerk who exaggerated, which I believe is what she did. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think she's going to confront Lisa, and it'll be like Megan said. It was a game of telephone, and it's not going to. They'll try to have to clear it up, and everyone will get angry and upset, and Brandi will probably yell something that she regrets later, and then apologize, and that's my prediction.
I feel like as a finale, it's going to be a wet noodle. Like it's going to be like wah wah, because we don't see any huge reactions in fighting. Which if there was, they would have shown it in the preview to get us hooked for next week. So it looks like basically the only confrontation or crazy, fun, exciting, juicy drama that's going to happen is just the whole conversation of telephone with Lisa, Rinna, Brandi, Kyle, and Kim. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
and
it's going to be
get-
not that exciting
and
next
get
week.
nipped in the bud, and yeah.
I wonder if you guys are starting to pick up on this with the Bravo shows too, because I know we're all huge Bravo fans. It seems like they're just using the finale as a springboard for the reunions.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Vanderpump Rules finale was all that captivating either.
No.
It seems like they just want to set things up so that you want to watch the reunion. And of course the reunion is going to be juicy because it's all of them sitting there yelling at each other. I don't know. These finales are falling flat to me, and I think the reunions are to blame.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Probably. They need to go back to Jersey when the finale was the table flipping incident.
Well, I think unfortunately setting up a big event and hoping that all this like drama from the whole season comes to a head, sometimes that's not going to happen. It was a failed experiment.
Yeah.
So I guess that happened on Vanderpump, and I guess that happened, I'm predicting that will happen next week on for Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to get slapped or wine thrown in their face this week because we've seen it all at this point.
Oh, when it's happened more than once already this season, we don't need to see it on the finale. Well, everybody, please make sure you keep tweeting all week long. Use the hashtag ABTVRHOBH and weigh in on your thoughts about that. Are the reunions killing the finales? I don't know. See if you agree with me.
Good question.
Everybody, you can tweet me at Christy Reports. Remember, subscribe, give us 5 stars, 2 thumbs up. We really love you. We love connecting with you guys. Everybody, where can they hit you up?
You can find me on Twitter and on Facebook at Fern Ronay.
And you guys can tweet me and follow me on Instagram at Megan Stecher.
Love it. So much good stuff. And please check out my YouTube channel at Christy Reports. We will all 4 be back next week for another juicy reenactment. Grand will be back. And we hope to see you next week for another edition of AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills After Show. Thanks for watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.